All right, just picked this up, used. Got some plans for it. Got a home for it. But first we got to go through it and see what kind of condition it's in. So I bought this thing off Marketplace from a local guy. Just met him this morning, picked it up. I haven't taken the body off yet. Took the body clips off, but I haven't taken the body off yet. Just from the looks of it, it's got the wheels and tires from the G-Wagon, the 2.2s. Steel stock bumper. Does have light kits, some other lights, some scale stuff. There's actually a scale bucket of dirt, which is pretty great. Little license plate on there. So we're gonna go through this thing and we're gonna see what kind of condition it's in and do some modifications, some improvements, and then send it down the road to be utilized. So let's take a look and see what the deal is. There's some lights. Looks like a little receiver plug there. Got a headlight kit. I don't know if it's a Traxxas light kit. It might be. Yeah, I guess it is. Here it is. There's the little controller. Traxxas light kit. We'll plug that in. We'll see if that works. We got, looks like stock electronics. Thing has been well used and abused. HV speed control. Traxxas Stinger. Stock Traxxas servo. Well, 2075X. I don't know if that's stock or not. Got some brass on the front portals. We'll see if it's got any overdrive or anything like that. But I'm going to try to plug a battery up and just see if she runs. I didn't even test it when I bought it. Figuring I can replace a speed control motor and servo if I need to. But yeah, needs a serious cleaning. And then it needs some upgrades, some modifications. Yeah. Not bad. Pretty much your standard, well-used, well-loved TRX4. All right, controller had batteries in it. Threw in this pack. It's got like 30% on it. Let's see. Oh. Oh, yeah. Forgot how touchy these things are from factory. So speed control, servo, works about what you expect. That works, but my goodness, she sounds rough. Oh, it's probably not set on crawl mode. It's set on forward brake reverse, not forward reverse. Phew, man, this thing needs some help. All right, good base. It does function. Realistically, I don't plan on keeping that speed control, that motor, or that servo in there, so this doesn't really matter, but at least we know what we're working with. I'm going to prop it up, put some tape on it, and see if there's any overdrive or underdrive in it. We'll see how that goes. All right, so I got the tape on there. The idea is to see if after one revolution, if the tape ends up in the same spots like compared to each other, or if this one is further along or this one is lazy. So let's see. Yeah, no overdrive, no underdrive. That's fine. I think I might have some parts. At least we know what we're working with. We're working with a pretty rough truck. Jeez. All right, so the overall plan right now is just to get this thing stripped down of the stuff that I don't really want or need. And then I'm going to take it and clean it a good bit. A lot of rusty hardware on here, which is fine. And it's going to be a trail truck. It's not going to be anything crazy. But it needs to be serviced. It needs to be serviceable. So I don't know if you can see, but right here is these little mounts for the slider, and it's got these slots. This is kind of an old trick. This truck's been around forever. But all you do is you take a little spacer, like a little aluminum spacer, and whatever height you want, and you put it there, and you just raise the thing up till it's flush with the bottom of the regular slider, because right now it hangs down. So you bring it up till it's flush, you get yourself a good bit more clearance, less to hang up on. Some people take them off completely. I kind of like that this groove holds the body in place. It's a pretty nice setup with the motor and the motor plate. I like it because it makes setting gear mesh and everything pretty simple, easy to get off. So you take those 3 off. There's a little cover. There's a motor. There's a motor plate. If you haven't seen this, it's got these holes that are all lettered A through H, and each one is a certain pinion gear size. So the stock one, what is that thing like? It's got to be like 14 or something. What does that say? 17 maybe? So there's a chart that Traxxas has where it has the gear, the pinion gear and the spur gear, because there's 2 spur gears, a 39 I think and a 45, which I went and bought the 45 yesterday. That goes in there. And that's just going to gear it down a little bit more gear reduction for just putting around. So it's not going to be very fast, but it'll be fun just to play with. If he wants to go faster, we'll just put in a larger pinion. So I'm going to get this servo out, and then I'm going to take this thing upstairs, give it a bath, clean off all this junk, make it a little more friendly to work on. All right, one gave her a preliminary cleaning just to get some of the crud off. It already looks way better. There's still a lot of dirt and junk. These portal boxes are pretty nasty, greasy. They need to come off, get cleaned up. I'm probably going to pull them apart and check the grease anyway. I'm going to dig through the parts. If I have overdrive, I'm going to put an overdrive in the front end. I'm going to pull the transmission out so I can swap that pinion, or sorry, that spur gear, and I'll probably take this apart and throw some grease in it. Throw some grease in the back end too. See how that looks. And then try to clean up what I can. These links are pretty rusty. I don't really know if I'm going to do anything with that. Once again, it's going to be a trail truck. It's going to be beat on. It's not probably going to be cleaned on the regular. So, yeah, I don't know how much it really matters. As long as it has some lube and it's not falling apart, right? That's what I'm trying to get to. So, yeah. So the overall plan with this is actually, this is going to go and live at my brother's house. He doesn't know that yet. But essentially what's going to happen is he doesn't have a crawler, a 10-scale crawler. His son does. His son was given one by a friend of ours as he was battling cancer, which is awesome. Awesome that he was given a truck. Not awesome that he's battling cancer. But just to give him and his son something to do together, since his son has the big crawler. Obviously, I have big crawlers. Our other brother has the 10-scale crawlers. But if we can give our eldest brother a truck to drive, then that would be pretty cool. So just going to clean it up enough so that it's usable, a little more usable than stock. Give it some good parts, and have some fun with it this weekend, actually. All right, so we got the transmission out of that chassis. So I'm going to go ahead and take it apart. I'm going to make sure it doesn't look nasty. I'm going to re-grease it, and then I'm going to swap that spur gear out. So I think this is the right size. Oh yeah, look at that. Nasty. Yikes. We may have to find some new bearings. That looks pretty bad. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. That is nasty. That was a good decision to pull that apart. Wow. Wow. All right, I need to clean all of this up and check and see if I have any bearings, because that is gross. Well, as you can tell by this giant mess, I had to do quite a bit of work. Most of these bearings had failed. That's literally the center of it. I had to run to the hobby shop and get all new bearings. So cleaned it up the best I could. and put all new bearings in it, and already it's way smoother. So all I have to do is put grease on this and put this other cap back on, and the gearbox is done, except for mounting the spur. But man, it was so bad. It was so bad. Way worse than it looked. I mean, look, just the vast majority of these bearings I had to shove in the vise and crack, and then take the Dremel and grind the center of the bearing till it freed up and I could twist it off. It was very bad. I'm going to do the portal boxes too, and I can only imagine they're equally as awful. So yeah, that's exciting. So anyhow, I'm going to put grease in here, put it back together, and put that spur on, and that thing will be done for now, I guess. I hope. Yeah. Looks almost like a new transmission. Spins and doesn't make any weird sounds. Kind of like a new transmission. That's pretty good. I did not have the little pads that go in this slipper, so I super glued those metal plates into that spur and cranked it down with all my might, and I'm hoping it's good. It is extremely close right there, though. See that? We'll see how that goes. But on to bigger and better things. I took the bolts out of this portal box. Let's see how nasty this looks. One-handed. Come on. Come on, friend. Goo! This is what happens when you drive in water, folks. Jeez. Nasty. That is nasty. All right, so got these rebuilt, at least better than they were. They're still not great because I don't have all the bearings. So I was going to do the front axle. Check this out. And unfortunately, that drive shaft screw is stripped, which means now I got to cut it apart. Pretty awful. Well, it only took a little bit of cutting to get that strip screw out. Unfortunate. And got the screws out here, so let's see. Let's see what this looks like. I can only imagine. Oh yeah. A lot of rust. Sounds super gritty, almost no grease. Yeah, that's nice. All right, so I got the front end back together for the most part. This was pretty gross, as you saw. Unfortunately, I only had one of the 4 bearings needed to rebuild that. So I got the one bearing in there. The other ones are just going to have to live like that for at least a few days. Servo-wise, this is the only extra servo I had sitting around, and I don't even know if it works. But I did the math on the stock servo. Where did it go? The 275X or 2075X from Traxxas. And the 2075X comes out to about 9 kg based on its specs. It's a 125-ounce servo. And this one's obviously 20. So even if this was 15, it'd still be drastically better than the Traxxas. So hopefully that works once that gets wired up. So once it gets wired up, I'll put the servo horn on, set the steering and everything like that. Next thing to tackle is going to be the rear. And just make... All right, got that back together. That rear was actually in way better condition than the front. I gotta wipe some of the excess grease off, it looks like. But now I'm gonna work on the power plant. So stock Titan 21 turn 550. This is a 3-slot motor. I'm getting this information straight off Holmes Hobbies. And it essentially equates to about 1800 kV. So it being a 3-slot, it's gonna have a better drag brake. But it's 1800 kV. And what I have here is a Crawlmaster Sport 550 12 turn. This equates to about 1700 kV, so a little bit slower. Not really much of a difference, but it's a 5-slot, so it's the startup on it's a lot smoother. The only downside will be that a 5-slot doesn't have as good of a drag brake, but still should be a decent improvement. I'm sure the quality of this motor is much higher quality than this motor. This isn't even the stock motor. It was in there. The stock motor was in there and looks trashed, but I just use this as the example because the stock motor and this should be identical. So yeah, I'm going to use that, and then I have this 1080 Hobbywing 1080 G2, and the G2 is nice because it has adjustable drag brake. It's 3S capable. The big thing being, though, that the BEC is 8.4 volts, which is pretty stinking awesome. So that servo will have a bit more power. Hopefully it lasts, but it'll have a bit more power. And these are programmable. So if you're trying to upgrade from a stock Traxxas speed controller, that 1080 is the way to go. And it comes with an XT60 connection, which is much more standard as opposed to the Traxxas connection. All right, it seems like this is spiraling pretty quickly, and my workbench is becoming quite a disaster. But I got the motor and electronics wrapped up. ESC, got some wires tied up for the most part. Got some stuff tied up here. It's not the best. That's for the light connection that goes in the body. As you can tell, I added some front inner fenders that I had in my box of parts. So I added some front inner fenders just to try to keep some of the mud out. I have the rears, but they've been pretty hacked, so I don't think I'm going to use them. So yeah, looking pretty good. Got the drive shafts in. Only had to pull one part of a drive shaft from the parts bin, from that one I had to grind down. Otherwise, looking pretty good. The body is chopped to get down into here with those new raised sliders. So the next thing is just going to be bumpers and then wheels and tires, and it's pretty much done. So we're going to be playing with it tomorrow. I'll try to get some footage of it out in the woods. But yeah, should be quite the revival from what it was when I picked it up. All right, looking pretty good. Got wheels and tires on. Got my bumpers on. This is from something else. I just drilled holes and put some pegs in it. But what I wanted to show for people that don't know is that there are two different bumper mounts. This one here is the rear bumper mount, and it goes, I believe it normally goes this way, like that. And then this is your front bumper mount. So if you're looking for more clearance, you can actually swap, flip, and grind and put the rear bumper mount on the front to raise up the bumper, and then just take your front one and put it on the rear. Or if you're willing to hack the body, you can put a rear on the rear, flip it upward. So you can have a little more clearance if you flip a front to the rear up, and then you have a lot more clearance if you put a rear to the front up, and then just cut the body to fit. So now the body's cut to fit there, and then this rear bumper is cut to fit there as well. So just a couple tricks. It makes the truck look way taller than it truly is, but yeah, pretty cool, cheap, free hack. So yeah, this thing's just about done. The only thing I want to do is I want to get the stickers off, wipe the body down if I can, try to clean it up. I put some scale accessories on there. I'm trying to put a few more. Otherwise, this thing is just about finished. Didn't get the stickers off yet, but I did want to get out here and put on the rocks. Went ahead and tested it inside and made some adjustments to the speed control, up the BEC voltage, adjusted drag brake, things like that, just to make it a little better. On my test ramp, it definitely wants to flip over because the back's got a lot of weight and the front doesn't. It also has no overdrive. But overall, works fairly well. Lifting those bumpers up really helps this thing. So, not bad. Let's see if we can climb up these rocks. The Holmes motor and the 1080 reasonably smooth. It's wide open with the 10-tooth pinion and 45-tooth spur. It's faster than walking speed, so you could trail it. Still have a decent bit of slow speed control. Oh no. And you can flop it. The Endura tires are doing better than I thought they would do. I'm not really a fan of the tire overall, but they were sent to me by accident from Endura, and they told me to keep them. So kept them, and now they're going on this project, and they seem to have a decent bit of grip. This is a tough spot without overdrive, and that front left is definitely up in the air right now. There we go. So I have Endura green inserts in the front and rear, and the fronts are cut a little bit just to make them a little bit softer. Overall, this thing's doing pretty good considering a couple days ago it was really nasty. So yeah, pretty decent truck. I'll take it over to my brother's tomorrow and give him some time to play with it. Hopefully he'll like it a lot. Well, I think this truck turned out pretty decent considering how bad it was to start with. It's plenty capable as a trail truck. Got a couple scale accessories. I even made myself a little recovery strap on there to hook up. I don't know why I spent so much time cleaning it, because I know it's going to head straight into a creek or something tomorrow. But at least it looks good right now. So I've got the glamour shots. But yeah, big improvements. New bumper. Got the stickers taken off. Wheels and tires. Obviously, all the electronics are new. Got a bunch of new bearings. Rebuilt a lot of stuff. Put some oil in some shocks that were pretty bouncy. The lights work. Not bad. Not bad. Definitely not cost effective. I paid $170 for this truck. I spent about $50 on bearings, and then I put in a speed control and a motor and a pinion gear and a servo and various other bits and bobs that I had here, inner fenders and pieces that I already owned. So I probably could have bought one used for the amount of money that I spent on this, but it was fun, and it's neat, and it's going to work, and it'll do the job. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We're going to get some video tomorrow of this thing, hopefully, on the trail a little bit with some other trucks. So I'll add that here at the end. But either way, thanks for watching.